Hello dear friends. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to explore ways to let go of the negative emotions that take up space in our lives. The topic we are going to deal with today is an important one in all of our lives: hatred and resentment. Do you know? Hatred and resentment are emotions that weigh down our soul, that hold us captive. These feelings deprive us of our freedom and prevent us from moving forward. Many people live with these feelings, feeling trapped, perhaps because of past disappointments or because of what others have done. But we are here because change is possible. Today I will show you how you can break the chains of hatred and resentment. From learning to forgive yourself to letting go of anger towards others. Remember that our essence lies in freedom. When we let go of these negative emotions, we can discover our true potential. If you are ready, let's take this journey together and lighten our hearts and open the path to freedom. Have you ever felt like you are your own worst enemy? Like your negativity is holding you back, ruining your relationships and draining your energy. We all know what it feels like to be consumed by anger, resentment, and that nagging feeling that life is not fair. But what if I told you that some of this suffering is a choice, that some of the darkest emotions we grapple with may have been amplified in our own minds, that for centuries philosophers known as Stoics have practiced the art of mastering our inner world? They did not deny the difficulties of life, but they left us with tools to find peace even in the midst of them. I am here to share their wisdom. A wisdom that can change the way you look at your own struggles. In this video, I will share 10 reasons to let go of negativity and how Stoicism can help you live a happier and more fulfilling life. Please keep watching, because by the end of this video, you may feel ready for a big mental shift. Now let's get started. 1. It is harmful to mental health. Think of your mind like a garden. Just like a garden needs sunlight and water to flourish, your mind needs positivity and peace to flourish. Imagine these negative emotions as grudges, hatred, resentment, weeds. They take root deep inside you, choking out the vibrant flowers of joy and contentment. Anxiety is like a storm whipping this garden, its relentless winds plucking the delicate petals of your inner peace. Depression is a dense fog that shrouds the light and stifles the potential for growth. And what about stress? It is like a relentless drought that scorches the soil and leaves your soul withered and fragile. The weeds of negativity make the garden of your mind vulnerable to these destructive forces. They create tangled pathways where worry can easily take hold. They create shadows where despair can fester. They leave your inner landscape barren and vulnerable to the harsh elements of life's challenges. But imagine being able to clear these weeds. Imagine a mind free from the suffocating grip of grudges and the bitterness of hatred. Imagine instead this garden filled with resilience, blooming with acceptance and bathed in the soft sunlight of understanding. When your mind becomes a refuge, the storms of anxiety have less power, the fog of depression finds no place to linger, and the heat of stress subdues. Stoicism teaches us to tend this inner garden, recognizing that our mental well-being derives from our ability to create a space that is impervious to the relentless storms of negative emotions. It is about nurturing strength, not feeding pain, about finding peace, not fueling resentment. 2. Damage relationships. Think of your connections with others as delicate bridges. These bridges are built on foundations of love, trust, and open communication. Imagine the weight of a grudge resting like a heavy boulder on one of these structures. The bridge begins to strain, cracks appear, and the connection weakens. Hatred is like a corrosive acid that eats away at the bonds that bind people together. When we harbor resentment, the bridge of communication is blocked. We speak not from a place of understanding, but from a place of bitterness and resentment. Words become weapons used to inflict more damage rather than heal old wounds. Trust, a key component of a healthy relationship, begins to crumble. With every cut, every word, and every unspoken accusation, the bridge grows weaker. Suspicion grows where once there was shared joy. Walls are erected where understanding should flow freely. The potential for closeness, laughter, and shared experiences gives way to an icy distance. Sometimes, under the unbearable weight of negativity, the bridge collapses completely, leaving an abyss of pain and regret on both sides. Stoicism offers a different path. It teaches us that our happiness is linked to the well-being of those around us. True strength lies not in isolating ourselves, but in building strong and resilient bonds. Grudges and hatred sabotage this basic human need. Choosing to forgive, even when it is difficult, is the act of removing these rocks. Seeking understanding instead of harboring resentment is the balm that mends the cracks. By tearing down the walls we build around our hearts, we reopen the space for those precious bridges of connection to flourish. True peace and contentment come not from isolation fueled by negativity, but from compassion and openness. Comes from nurturing strong and supportive relationships built on a foundation of communication. 3. Negative impact on physical health. Our minds and bodies are not separate entities, but intricately interconnected threads woven into the fabric of our being. When our minds are consumed by negativity, our physical health suffers, just as a storm-tossed ship eventually shows signs of wear and tear from constant battering. When we allow resentment and hatred to flare up, our bodies are constantly on high alert. Stress hormones rise, constricting blood vessels and raising blood pressure. The heart beats rapidly and works overtime to cope with the perceived threat. Meanwhile, our immune system, which is tasked with protecting us from real dangers, weakens and becomes less effective. With constant stress, wear and tear starts to become apparent. Headaches increase, sleep becomes difficult, and digestion is disrupted. The body is deprived of its natural restorative rhythm. It is like trying to rebuild a house in the middle of a hurricane. Resources that should be used for healing and care are instead diverted to fighting a never-ending civil war. Over time, this can lead to serious consequences such as increased risk of heart disease, chronic inflammation, and even weakened defenses against disease. It is a heavy price for our bodies to pay for the pain we hold inside. The Stoics understood this mind-body connection. They saw physical training not just as developing strength, but as developing discipline and endurance for both body and soul. By choosing to let go of negativity, we give our bodies a chance to heal. By breaking the inner state of emergency, we give our systems the rest they need for optimal function. Just as proper exercise strengthens the body, practicing forgiveness, understanding, and acceptance builds emotional resilience. When we create inner peace, we provide fertile ground for our physical health to blossom. It's not about ignoring difficult emotions, but processing them in a way that allows our mind as well as our body to thrive. 4. It impairs judgment. Imagine your mind as a clear lake. When it is calm, you can see its depths clearly. The reflections on its surface reflect the world in perfect detail. But what happens when a storm breaks over this lake? The waters churn, the surface becomes turbulent, and the reflections become distorted and lost. This is what happens when uncontrolled anger and hatred take over our thoughts. They cloud our judgment. When we are blinded by negativity, we become like sailors sailing in a storm. Reason, our compass, becomes unreliable. Impulsive actions become like the rash movements of a ship's rudder, guided not by a clear course but by swirling emotions. Bad choices are made, fueled by grudges, revenge, or the need to inflict pain rather than seek solutions. The consequences of such rash behavior can be far-reaching. Words once spoken in anger have the power to cause deep wounds and lasting harm. Opportunities can be squandered because of blindness to possible consequences. The energy consumed by hatred clouds our common sense, causing us to falter at moments when acting calmly and prudently would lead to success and true happiness. The Stoics valued reason above all else. They saw it as the guiding light within us and provided the tools to meet life's challenges with clarity. By focusing on dispassionate analysis and careful action, we can calm the storm within. We regain the ability to see situations without the distortion of anger or resentment. Instead of being guided by our raw emotions, we can choose to act from a place of wisdom and thoughtfulness. This does not mean suppressing all emotions, but rather channeling them in a way that strengthens us, not in a way that obscures our path. It is the difference between using the wind to power our sails and being battered by its destructive force. By choosing the path of reason, we secure the rudder and steer our lives towards fulfillment, not towards the shipwreck of impulsive actions fueled by negativity. 5. Creates vicious cycles. Have you ever noticed how one negative thought can quickly turn into a storm of negativity? Like a single spark igniting a raging forest fire. One grudge breeds another, resentment multiplies, and bitterness spreads like a strangling vine. Soon you are caught in a vicious circle from which it is difficult to see the way out. Imagine yourself trying to escape from a deep pit. Every time you throw a stone of negativity upwards, the walls seem to get higher and higher. Every angry word, every bitter thought deepens the pit a little more. For every step you take towards freedom, you take 2 steps backwards into a darker, more enclosed space. You slip. This cycle of negativity becomes self-perpetuating. It feeds itself, finding fuel in its own flames. Each negative thought validates the next, creating a twisted logic that justifies our pain. Soon we begin to see negativity everywhere, and it becomes harder and harder to climb out of the pit of despair we have created. The Stoics understood the danger of this downward spiral. They knew that indulging in negative emotions is not only uncomfortable, it traps us in a self-destructive pattern. So they focused on breaking the cycle at the root, with our thoughts. By questioning the validity of our anger, seeking to understand rather than condemn, and focusing on what is within our control, we can starve the fires of negativity. We can refuse to throw more fuel in the form of self-righteous anger and vindictive thoughts. Instead, we can choose to replace each stone of negativity with a seed of hope, patience, or understanding. With each act of wisdom and compassion, we tear down the walls of the prison of our own creation. Little by little, light begins to seep in. The way out becomes clearer. Stoicism offers us a way out of the exhausting spiral of suffering, one conscious choice at a time, leading us upwards towards a life of true inner peace. 6. It hinders personal growth. Imagine trying to plant a beautiful garden in a field choked with weeds. Every potential seed, every effort to grow is choked by relentless thorns and stubborn roots of negativity. This is what happens when we allow resentment and hatred to take root in our lives. It prevents us from growing. When we are consumed by resentment, our focus narrows. Like looking at the world through a distorted lens, we see only the wrongs done to us, the obstacles in our path. This negative energy reduces our motivation and blinds us to opportunities for transformation. Precious moments are wasted reliving the pain of the past, instead of being used to sow the seeds of progress. The Stoics understood that true personal growth comes from looking inward, not dwelling on external factors. Nurturing negativity is like building a wall around ourselves, cutting off the sunlight needed for inner growth. By holding on to old wounds, we deny ourselves the chance to develop compassion, wisdom, and resilience. Just as a master gardener diligently weeds and nourishes his field, we must remove the mental blocks that prevent us from blooming. Letting go of grudges is like cleaning the soil, creating fertile ground for positive qualities to flourish. Every act of forgiveness fertilizes our potential, opening up space for personal growth to take root. By shifting that mountain away from bitterness and towards a growth mindset, we open ourselves to a life of true fulfillment. Like a plant turning toward the sun, we begin to grow toward the light of our potential. As negative emotions fade, determination, inner strength, and a heart open to new experiences begin to develop. Personal growth and negativity cannot coexist. Stoicism helps us to prioritize self-development over self-sabotage. It reminds us that by choosing to focus on our own inner development, we not only unlock our own potential, but also radiate a positive energy that can influence the world around us. 7. Consumes energy. Think of your mental and emotional energy as a finite resource, like the fuel that powers a vehicle. Every ounce of this energy is precious and should be used to navigate the journey of life with purpose and determination. Now imagine that there is a leak in your fuel tank. Instead of powering your progress, your precious energy is being wasted in a constant drip of resentment and bitterness. Holding grudges and harboring hatred is like driving a car with a flat tire. You make an extraordinary effort just to keep going, but you constantly struggle to make any meaningful progress. This constant exhaustion distracts you from the rich landscape around you. Instead of enjoying the journey, you become obsessed with the source of your frustration, and every bump in the road further fuels your despair. The weight of negativity is a heavy burden to carry. It saps your creativity, chokes your joy, and dulls your spirit. It's like going through life with sandbags tied to your ankles, exhausting and demoralizing. It leaves little energy to build meaningful relationships for the things that really matter, to pursue goals and find the inner peace and fulfillment that everyone craves. The Stoics understood that our mental and emotional resources must be managed wisely. They realized that freeing ourselves from the mental chains of negativity unlocks a reservoir of energy. Imagine this energy being redirected, like plugging a leak in a fuel tank. Suddenly the engine of your soul runs smoother, your stamina increases, and your perspective opens up to possibilities you never considered under the weight of pain. Stoicism offers us a way to prioritize our expenditure of energy. It's about choosing to invest in living mindfully, cultivating inner strength, and focusing on the positive. By refusing to waste our fuel on negativity, we can propel ourselves towards a life of purpose, passion, and true fulfillment. Fueled by an unwavering determination to live in harmony with our highest self, we become masters of our own journey. 8. Attract negativity. Imagine yourself holding a diapason fork. What happens when you strike it? It vibrates with a clear and pure tone. Now imagine bringing this vibrating diapason fork closer to another untouched diapason fork. Soon the second diapason fork starts humming. It resonates at the same frequency as the first one. The negativity within us acts in the same way. When we act out of bitterness, anger, or resentment, we send a negative vibration out into the world. Like echoes, this negativity resonates, attracting similar energies. Lightnesses that would normally be ignored suddenly seem to grow stronger. People who match our negativity are drawn to us, reinforcing our own cynicism. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. We see negativity everywhere because we vibrate at its frequency. This creates a feedback loop where negativity attracts more negativity and drags us deeper into a pessimistic worldview. Soon we lose sight of the beauty and possibilities still present in the world, focusing only on what seems to confirm our gloomy outlook. The Stoics understood the power of our inner state. They saw that by choosing to cultivate positive qualities such as wisdom, compassion, and composure, we change the vibrations we send outward. We begin to resonate at a different frequency, like switching to a different tuning fork. This resonance attracts different experiences. When we choose positivity, when we meet challenges with resilience instead of pain, something remarkable happens. We start to see the good more easily. People with similar qualities are drawn towards us and foster supportive relationships. Doors that were once slammed shut can begin to gently open. It may seem like magic, but it is a simple law of resonance. The Stoic way is about changing our tune. By practicing gratitude, awareness, and acceptance, we tune into a higher frequency. And just as two diapasons singing together creates a more beautiful sound, a positive outlook strengthens the good within and around us, breaking the cycle of negativity forever. 9. Morally questionable. At our core, most of us long for a world built on kindness and compassion. We crave connection, understanding, and the basic belief that people are inherently good. But when we allow negativity to take root, we begin to betray these core values. We enter a morally dark territory. Wishing harm on others, no matter how deeply we have been wronged, is like throwing poison into a well. It contaminates not only the targeted person, but also the purity of our own soul. Dwelling on past hurts is like tending for too long to a wounded limb that needs healing. Yes, the pain is real, but by continually reopening the wound, we deprive ourselves of the chance to move forward whole and unbroken. The Stoics believed in aligning our actions with the virtues of wisdom, justice, temperance, and courage. Pain and revenge cloud our wisdom, making us short-sighted and prone to rash actions. They undermine our justice, leading us to seek revenge instead of restoration. They undermine our sense of proportionality and weaken our courage, as we get caught up in a self-destructive cycle of negativity instead of thinking soberly. Because true courage lies in choosing the more difficult path of forgiveness and understanding. Choosing compassion instead is like planting a tree of life. Its roots reach deep into the soil of our common humanity and nurture a sense of connection. Its shadow provides respite not only for ourselves but also for those around us. When we choose kindness, we reaffirm our belief in the potential for goodness, and we are able to extend it to others. We inspire them to do the same. Choosing compassion, even when it is difficult, strengthens our moral compass. We become a beacon of light in a world that can sometimes feel like it is plunged into darkness. And it's not just about the outside world. This interchange also brings peace to our own hearts. Letting go of hatred is like finally releasing a breath you didn't even know you were holding, making room for forgiveness and healing. Stoicism offers us a way to live more in line with our values. It is about choosing to be the type of person we want to see in the world: kind, compassionate, and understanding. By not allowing negativity to erode our moral foundation, we build a brighter future, not only for ourselves, but for everyone around us. 10. There are alternatives. Imagine you are facing a dangerous mountain pass. One of the roads is dark and overgrown, littered with the debris of travelers trapped in the past. The obstacles are many, and the sense of hopelessness threatens to overwhelm everything. Yet right next to this gloomy route, another path emerges. It may not look easy, but it holds the promise of brighter landscapes and a journey less fraught with despair. Similarly, we do not have to remain hostage to resentment and hatred. Healthy alternatives abound that offer a path to true healing and liberation. These alternatives are not quick fixes. They require courage and self-reflection. But they lead to a life of deeper meaning and true emotional freedom. Therapy provides a safe space to untangle the tangled roots of negativity. A therapist, like a skilled guide, can help us understand the source of our pain and provide tools to process difficult emotions constructively. They offer an objective perspective when pain clouds our own vision, and asking for forgiveness, whether from another or from ourselves, is a powerful act of release. It is not about excusing wrongs. True forgiveness means letting go of the burden of carrying old wounds and making space for healing. It is about freeing not only the person who has caused us pain, but also ourselves. The Stoics practiced this self-acceptance. They focused on the present, recognizing that the past cannot be changed. Instead, they decided to use each day to improve themselves, to build resilience, wisdom, and inner peace. Choosing to focus on our own well-being and not on the actions of others is a form of self-protection. It means that my happiness is important. It's about nurturing our physical and emotional health, surrounding ourselves with positive influences, and engaging in activities that bring joy. It is about recognizing that we cannot fill an empty glass with water and that healing ourselves is essential. Stoicism invites us on a transformative journey. It reminds us that even when negative emotions arise, we are not slaves to them. There is always another way forward. By choosing these healthy alternatives, we not only manage negativity, we transcend it and create a life filled with the unwavering peace and fulfillment that comes from living in harmony with our own inner power. Imagine a life where the burden of anger is less, where every challenge feels a little lighter, where relationships thrive on understanding. This is the power of the Stoic mindset. It's not easy, but it is incredibly rewarding. Are you ready to invest in your inner peace? Are you willing to face your lingering resentment? Let's use the comments below to support each other on this journey. If this video resonated with you, please share it with someone who could benefit. And thank you so much for watching. Your support by subscribing means the world.